Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Andrea. It's nice to have you guys here. For those eagle-eyed viewers of mine, yes, I am wearing the same top, same makeup, same hair, same everything, because I am filming this on the same day that I filmed my product empties video. I'm feeling like I'm on a bit of a roll and the lighting is still good, so I'm just gonna roll through and get this video filmed. So I've seen a lot of decluttering videos going up lately for makeup decluttering, and I saw Shannon from Pages and Polish do a palette declutter, and so that kind of inspired me. I've been buying some palettes recently, like over the last, I'd say 4 or 5 months, and I find that I'm just using some more than others, and it's probably time for a bit of a declutter. I'm not getting rid of a lot, but I probably am going to be getting rid of a few, so I thought I would do a kind of combo of palette collection plus which ones I'm getting rid of plus my top 5, kind of the 5 palettes that I just would refuse to be without. This is going to be a mix of eyeshadow palettes and face palettes, so some of these will have face products mixed in. So I've got a big basket here. This is not how I store them, and this is another reason why I need to declutter, because the area that I'm storing them does not currently hold all of them. So I need to just thin my collection out a little bit. The first one, and this is just in very random order, but this is the Naked Urban Decay On The Run palette. Some people will know that some of these palettes are a little old. I find that with powder products, because like Urban Decay, the little thing on the little bottle on the back says 24 months. People can have different opinions than me. That is perfectly fine. But I find as long as the powder still smells okay, is applying okay, and isn't getting really this like hard, bumpy surface, it's still fine. If I notice that the formulation is changing or if it's doing anything weird on my skin, I get rid of it. But so far, I take really good care of my palettes. I don't stick wet brushes directly into any of the powders, so I find that I can actually get a pretty good length of time out of my powder-based products. So when you spend as much money on eyeshadow and face palettes, I'm not in a rush to get rid of it just because it's technically past that expiration date that I kind of feel like they put on there just to both save themselves and reduce their liability, but also to make you think you've got to buy another palette. This one is actually still in pretty decent condition. I did like all of the products. I liked the highlighter. The blush was gorgeous. The bronzer is great, and I did like the 4 eyeshadows. I would also use the highlighter as an eyeshadow, but this is one I just don't find that I'm returning to very often. I loved the huge mirror. I loved that it came with a mascara, an eyeliner, and a lip gloss, but once those got used up, then these holes just kind of became irrelevant, and it was taking up a lot of space. So I'm thinking of cleaning this one up and then giving it to my mom, because I think she would still get some use out of those eyeshadows and I'm just not using them. A palette similar to that I'm probably going to finally let go of is the, well, I don't know, the eyeshadows look okay, but the highlighter has definitely seen better days in this one. This is the Urban Decay Anarchy face case. I loved the face case. I wished the Naked On The Run was similar to this size. This one had an eyeliner and a lip crayon that were in the top bit. The lip one went through to the bottom. It just took up less space. I feel like the blush, especially this one, is still in really good condition, so I'm kind of on the fence. But I might give this to my sister because I'm just not using it as much. I haven't turned to this one. The colors are a little darker and a little cooler, and I really only wore this in the winter, but I did really, really love this. It served me very well for a number of years. A more recent one that I am really on the fence with, I feel like I need to play with this more. This is the Cargo Cosmetics Wanderlust palette. I got this for $15 at Costco. I won't lie, I was partially drawn in because of the price, and I just have found that the colors aren't quite what they appear. There's this really vibrant royal purple and this really beautiful teal, and when I put them on, they go on almost black with just a very subtle like purple or teal shimmer in the light. They just weren't what I was hoping for, and I feel like the lighter colors, based on my experience with this palette, I don't think I would purchase Cargo Cosmetics again. I don't feel like this, even for the price, I'd rather save up and buy an Urban Decay palette or a Too Faced palette. A smaller palette that I do like, this is the 100% Pure Punk Princess palette. This has a very thin mirror And then it's got a highlighter, a blush. Both of these are gorgeous. And then a light shimmery eyeshadow, a kind of medium brown, and then a black, which the black works really great as a liner. It's really pretty, and I do use this. This is one that I will grab if I'm trying to just do my makeup really quick and I'm not doing anything that elaborate. I'll grab this and the colors in it between the face products and the eye products. I can do a full face pretty quick. Another palette that I love and that I don't use as much, but I just can't bear to get rid of it because it's got such good memories. This is the, I don't even know what they called it. It was a collaboration. It's for Marks and Spencer. I'm not sure if it was specifically part of the Autograph line, but it was a limited edition 2-tier face palette for eyes, lips, and cheeks. So it opens up like that, and then again like that. I loved this. It's got a nice big mirror on the one side, and then you have a highlighter, a bronzer, 3 different blushes, and then 18 eyeshadows in a pretty good range of colors. The face products were great. I loved the blushes, I loved the highlighter, and I loved the bronzer. I didn't really use any of the lip products. I loved the eyeshadows. They just weren't as pigmented as I would have liked, and they don't blend as nicely as some of my more expensive products. But I did love that it really did have everything you could possibly need, and it's still one where if I were just taking a really quick weekend trip down to Sierra Vista or something, I'd probably just grab this one and be good to go. Another Marks and Spencer palette that I wanted to love this, and I just kind of didn't, is also by Autograph. I love the blue. I love the packaging of this. I love the giant mirror. It's great for traveling. I found that the blush and the highlighter were nice. The bronzers were just a little bit too shimmery for me. And then there was just a really odd mix of eyeshadow colors, and similar to this palette, they're just not that highly pigmented. So I don't know. I really wanted to love this. I used it for a little while and then I kind of stopped using it because I just found that it really did just have an odd mix. So I'm thinking I might pass this on to my mom or my sister. 2 little ones. These are technically quads, but I keep them with my palettes. These are the Fleur de Force eyeshadow. This is Lunar Rose and Cosmic Bronze. I love these. These are kind of if I'm traveling and I just don't want to have to make any decisions, I will pack one or both of these because I can create a really natural look or a really dramatic look with these. And yeah, love them. I was really happy I got to buy them. I will be sad when they eventually run out, because I'm not sure if she's still producing the makeup line or not, but really liked these. By Buxom, I have Look All You Want is the name of the palette. I've kept the palette because it does slide out, so I can pop these out and replace them. I've been tempted to replace some of the shades just because I find that the opal one is really pretty, but really hard for me to use. I almost feel like I need to buy a second I use that word loosely. I almost feel like I would like to buy a second Buxom palette that I can kind of build my own and pick a few shadows and then split them up. So some of these shadows I really like, but then it's missing some shadows, like it's missing a matte ivory, and I feel like these 2 shades are really similar, but one's a matte, one's a shimmer, and it's hard for me to create looks that I really like, whereas the opal, I can't swatch it well enough in this lighting, but it really is, it's opal. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that on my hand. You kind of can. But if you've ever seen an opal stone, it changes color in the light. It is almost, I'm a fan of Simply Nailogical, so I have learned how to, when the use of holographic is appropriate. I would say it's the closest to holographic eyeshadow I have ever seen. I don't think we get the full spectrum, but it looks white in here and it is not white when you put it on. It's got a definitely purple and a bit of blue. Beautiful, but it just doesn't work with the other eyeshadows, so it just makes this palette really awkward and I don't reach for it as much. But I feel like I would use that opal shadow with some of my other palettes. I just need to remember to use this more. A couple small Too Faced palettes I have. One that I don't reach for as much. This is the Too Faced Bonjour Summer. This was from summer of 2014, so it's got very fond memories for me. I took this to London, Prague, and Oxford. It was the main palette that I used. I've almost hit pan on this middle shade. I just felt like I could create really beautiful looks with this. It's held up, it still looks really good. It hasn't gone all lumpy and bumpy on me. So I do still turn to this one every now and then when I'm feeling nostalgic. Even though I don't use it as much, I just can't bear to part with it because I love it so much. Another more recent one is the Too Faced Totally Cute palette, which came with the stickers so you could decorate it. Everything but the Too Faced logo here is a sticker that I've put on. This just brought out the inner Lisa Frank 90s kid in me. And I loved the mix of colors. You can do some really natural looks or use the chocolate donut for some more depth in the crease. But then you've also got these really fun colors. I need to dig this out and start using this a bit more in the summer because I really do like that one. One that I wanted to love and I just could never get this to work for me, and so I'm thinking I might pass this on, is the Tarte Make Believe in Yourself palette. Looked like this. It had a nice beautiful big mirror, and it had all of these beautiful shades, and then a highlighter in the middle. I felt like I could get better pigmentation if I used my fingertip. I know a lot of people recommended wetting your brush, but again, I feel like that breaks down my palettes a lot faster. So I don't like putting wet brushes directly into the pan. I could never get it to be as pigmented. I might give this another shot now that we're coming into spring and summer. If I haven't used this in the next month, I'm gonna pass it on to my sister. A face palette. This is all face. It's more of a concealer palette. This is the Sephora plus Pantone Universe concealer palette. Huge mirror, which is really nice, and then a ton of shades. And they did this in two versions. There was a deeper tone one that had much fewer of the light tones, and the color correctors were different for darker skin tones. I've still seen this on Sephora. I feel like for $50, because it wasn't cheap, I haven't used this as much as I would have liked. I'm not sure I would repurchase it. I just don't use concealer very much. I embrace the imperfections on my skin, so I just don't turn to this as much as I should. This was one that I wanted it to work, I wanted to love it, and I think I'd be better off buying a smaller concealer palette if I ever did a concealer palette again. So this is a palette that I really need to use more. The only reason I don't use this palette more is because of its size. But this is the Tarte, it was a limited edition holiday one a couple of years ago. It was like the artist paint collection. It's beautiful. I have tried popping these out to try to put them into a more compact Z palette, and they just don't want to budge. But it's gorgeous. It came with, in this spot, it came with a mascara, a lip gloss, and an eyeliner, and then all of these beautiful eyeshadow shades that just are really stunning. I need to use this more. I won this in a giveaway on Farah Asif's channel. If you watched, it was the start of, was it Vlogtober or Vlogmas? The start of one of those in 2016 was when I won this and when this arrived, and I opened it in day one of one of those vlogging months. So I really did love it. The blush and the highlighter are stunning, and the bronzers I actually can wear. It's definitely one that I refuse to get rid of just because I love that it was a giveaway prize from Farah, who has two channels, and I absolutely adore both. I'm gonna start using this a bit more. Urban Decay Naked Heat. I feel like I don't need to talk about this one a lot because everyone already has. Love it. I tend to use the shades this end a bit more frequently. I can do really basic, bare, minimal, natural eyeshadow looks, but I do love the deeper tones. Even though this came out last summer and heat kind of implies it being a summer palette, I much prefer this for autumn. I will wear this pretty much October, November. I do love this one. I love Urban Decay in general. From Soap and Glory, which is another kind of drugstore brand. I think this was like $20, and this is the Perfect 10, and this is one that I come back to every now and then. I really love the range of shades. I love the darker ones that I can use for creating a smoky eye or smudging along the lash lines, but then all of these shades are really pretty for creating more of a natural look. I probably should get rid of it or pass it on because I have other palettes with similar shades, but I don't know. I'm going to tentatively put it in the to-go pile for now. It might get pulled out of that, we will see. And then another little palette. This is by Huda Beauty. This is Electric Obsessions. I need to play with this more. I played with the 2 pink and the purple when I went to the Pink concert. I know, I'm so original. Pink eyeshadow for the Pink concert. But the blue, the teals and the blue in here look gorgeous. I'm not entirely sure about the yellow, the orange, or the red, but I feel like it could be fun to try to do some kind of like sunset look or something like that. So I'm still playing with this one, especially with the summer. I think I can get away with wilder stuff. And now that I'm looking at it, I also think this with the opal might be good. So might have to play with those. And then a face palette that I bought recently. This is the Becca Après-Ski Glow face palette. It comes with 2 blushes, a bronzer, and 3 highlighters. So you've got 3 highlighters here, including opal, which I have in an individual pan. Really love it. I've really been liking Icicle, and the Rose Quartz highlighter is gorgeous, and opal's beautiful. I feel like a lot of people know that already. Really do like this, but it doesn't quite crack the top 5. So now I'm going to get into my top 5 palettes. These are the ones that if someone told me I had to declutter all of my palettes but 5, these were the only 5 I could keep, this is what I would pick. First one is by Autograph, and this was, I don't think they had a fancy name for it, but it's full of kind of pinks and neutral pinks. They're not super pigmented, so the dark shades aren't super dark. You've really got to build them up. The shimmers aren't super shimmery, but I kind of like that. So there's just, I feel like I can play around with these more, and I just find that I can create a really basic, beautiful, neutral eye look, but also have some of the darker ones that I can play around, like smudging into my lash line. I love how slim it is and how small it is, but there's still 12 eyeshadows in here, so it's great for traveling. I love the little rose on the cover. It's probably not, it probably wouldn't be other people's top choice, and it's not a perfect palette, but despite that it's been in my collection for a long time, I do keep coming back to it. And so I think I'd be really sad if I ever got rid of it. So this is definitely in the top 5. Another one in the top 5 is the Naked Smoky. I had to have, there's actually 2 Urban Decay palettes in my top 5. I had to include the Naked Smoky. I think this is one of my favorites. It's got the warm browns, so it's great in the fall, but I also love all the cool smoky colors. I tend to turn to this palette a lot in like November, December, and January. These 3 at the end are matte, and I can create just a very nice kind of transition, crease, and brow bone. Really simple, really basic, but then I can play with any of the shimmers. High, which is this one, and Dirty Sweet, I really love. I really like this palette. If I had to choose between Naked Heat and Naked Smoky, I would definitely go Smoky all the way. So this is one that I would be really hard pressed to ever get rid of. The newest one to crack into the top 5, usually my top 5 doesn't change that much, but Urban Decay Back Talk, I think, has done it. I am loving the blush and highlighter shades. They are absolutely gorgeous. And then the eyeshadows really are beautiful. Bare, for being a shimmer, it's actually more of a satin, and I would say it is bare. It just puts the slightest bit of color and light refracting shimmer on your eyelids, but it's not an overpowering shimmer. 180 and Shade actually both work great smudged along the lash line. I find that I don't create a ton of super dramatic looks, but I really like that this is just can do a very basic neutral look, including blush and highlighter, and it's all in one package, and it's pretty slim. It's a little heavy. I think traveling on an airplane with this, I would choose the next palette that I will talk about for like an overnight trip road trip, I would definitely pack this one because I do really like it. But, and I am kind of going through these in order. So in 5th place, in 4th place, in 3rd place, but in 2nd place, this is absolutely my second most favorite, which now I'm realizing is kind of weird because that means my 1st place palette. These last two are tied for first because one isn't an eyeshadow palette, it's a face palette. I think if I had to choose one palette that could do eyes, face, everything, it would be the Too Faced Best Year Ever 2018 palette. This was part of the Boss Lady Agenda palette set. I absolutely love this. I traveled with this to London. It has so many eyeshadows in every color you could possibly need. You've got the light neutrals, you've got the fun colors with bright pinks, and there's a beautiful shimmery maroon. There's a matte dark green and then a shimmer dark green. You've got like a dark navy. There's a nice blend of shimmers and mattes, and then you've also got a beautiful highlighter, a gorgeous blush, and a beautiful bronzer. So this really has everything I could possibly need. It's super slim, it's very lightweight, so traveling with it, it perfectly fits in my travel makeup bag, and no matter what situation that could possibly come up on a trip, I know I've got colors for everything. Really, really love this palette. As far as eyeshadow palettes go, #1, but shared for #1 because it's not an eyeshadow palette, so I can't compare it to other eyeshadows. But the one like solid face palette that is cracked into my top 5 is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit in Surreal Light. Best $80 I ever spent. These are not cheap palettes. Hourglass is not a cheap brand, which is why it's not a palette that I tend to rave about a lot because I know it's not one that everyone can afford. This palette is just, it's what I'm wearing today. It's actually, other than like mascara and my brows and my lips, the only thing I'm wearing. Got the finishing powder all over the blush. I'm using this blush on my cheeks. I've got the highlighter, and then my eyes are actually a mix of the highlighter and the bronzer. So I use the highlighter all over and the bronzer in the crease. I just find that I can do a really quick and easy 5-minute makeup with just this, and then like some under eye concealer. So this morning I just put on this, some Touche Eclat under my eyes, just to brighten them up a bit. No eyeliner. I'm using some mascara, some brow powder on my brows, and then some lipstick, and that's it. So I love how versatile this is. If I'm wearing other eyeshadow, other makeup, it plays nicely with those. But if I also just want to throw literally one palette in my bag and I know I don't need to do like a dramatic eye look, this will be what I bring with me because it literally can do just a basic everyday face for me super quick. So love this palette. Those are my palettes. That's my bit of decluttering. We've managed to declutter about 5 palettes. That's not bad. I'm still keeping quite a few, but I'm happy with that, and I think these will fit back into their home a lot better. Do you have any of these palettes? What has your experience been? So let me know your thoughts on these palettes. Do you throw your palettes out as soon as they hit whatever this one is? 12 months, a year. Do any of us go through a palette in only a year? Am I crazy for keeping mine? Do you guys get rid of yours after the so-called expiration date, or are you like me? Do you like to live a little bit dangerously, I suppose, and just wait until they stop performing or turn weird colors or start smelling weird? This one still smells just like it did when I bought it. So, which is a very pretty smell, by the way. A year. I should be throwing it out right now because I think I bought it this time last year. I would not be throwing this out. That's crazy. So tell me in the comments, do you hold on to your palettes? Like foundation, concealer, I get it. It starts to smell as soon as it goes off, I get rid of it. But a palette, I don't get it. So let me know in the comments if you agree with me, or if you take those expiration dates on eyeshadows really seriously and toss yours out after only a year. That's just mental to me, but maybe I'm the one who's mental. I don't know. Anyway, tell me in the comments. I've been rambling, so I'm gonna go. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what your top 2 or 3 or 5 palettes from your collection are. I'd love to know if we have any similar palettes in our top 5. And I will see you all soon in the next video. Thank you very much for watching this one. Bye-bye.